Hello friends, welcome to Make Money While You Sleep community. My name is Varun and today our topic is how to rent your stocks using options, in which basically we are going to cover about covered calls strategy. So let's begin. Couple of disclaimers. This content is purely for educational purpose. It is not intended to be an investment or a financial advice. So these options basics I am covering in all my sessions. So uh, quick check on this. Options are nothing but a contract on 100 shares, which has got a defined expiry date and a strike price. There is a buyer and a seller of a contract. Buyer buys an option contract from a seller by paying a premium. They work just like an insurance. And there are two type of options, call and put. And we combine those call and put together to come up with different strategies. Okay, so this is strategy about covered call and how it exactly looks like a renting your stocks using options. Uh, in this particular strategy, we are selling calls on your stock holdings. Very simple strategy. We have already covered strategy where we were selling put, and we were selling put either to generate passive income by remaining very far away from the actual stock price, or we were trying to be closer to the stock price to collect the stock. But in this particular strategy, we are selling call on those stocks which we are already having. The advantage of this particular strategy is that you don't need additional buying power or a collateral. Generally, when we are trying to sell naked put, your buying power reduces or you need to give a lot of collateral. But when you are selling covered call, please note it is covered call, it is not naked call. Naked call means you don't have stocks, you are just selling call. But if you have stocks and then you are selling it, it is called covered call. That's the difference. So when you sell covered call, given that you already have stocks, so your buying power generally increases a bit rather than it gets decreased because you already have stocks to cover them. It is again a good strategy to generate passive income. And if you want to, let's say, if you already have stocks, it in a way it also reduces your stock purchase price, because every month or so you will keep collecting that premium, and if the stock remains with you, basically you are reducing the price. And ultimately, it I have been in those trades where I actually made my stocks completely free by just selling premium. uh, if you are doing covered calls on the dividend stocks, you can also earn dividends which will come all every quarter along with selling these covered calls. So that could be a bonus if you are doing covered calls on a dividend stocks. So many people, because of this reason, many people, rather than selling put on dividend stocks, they use this strategy where they always have dividend stocks so that they keep making dividend income, as well as they keep selling covered calls, which is little bit far out of the money, and keep collecting the premium as well. So that's like double bonus for them. So, and this strategy is also often used when you intend to hold the stock, like you like the stock and you don't want to let the stock go away. Let's say people love Tesla, right? And they expect that Tesla will go to $5,000 or $3,000. So maybe people would want to keep the stock. So you make keep the stock and you can sell that call, covered call, in a very far out of the money. So that is, you are expecting that within that particular time period, the stock will not go that far. And that's how you can keep the stock as well as keep making a small amount of money every month. So where you don't expect an appreciable price increase in the near term. So that's where this strategy could work really well. But yes, at the same time, given that you are trying to collect a premium and you have a cap, you have already defined a strike price. um, it will not give you infinite profit, just like stock. If your strike price breaches, then yes, that will be your maximum profit in this case. So to understand this in terms of graph or in terms of how this works, this is a representation of our stocks. So the way stock works is, this line is representing profit and loss, and this line is representing our price. So the way stock works is, uh, if stock price goes above our purchase price, if this is a purchase price, this line, if it goes above that, you are going to make profit. So this particular zone is a profit making zone. And if stock price goes lesser than the um, purchase price, we are going to make loss. Very plain and simple, right? That's how a stock profile works. How does a sell call work? The short, is it called short call or sell call? Short is nothing but sell. So how short call works is, if stock will remain below strike price. I'm talking about sell call, right? So if the stock price will remain below the strike price, you are going to collect that premium. Make sense? But if the stock price goes above strike price, then we are going to start losing that money over here. So this is going loss here. So does that make sense, guys? This is a profile of a long stock, a buying of a stock, which we generally do. And this is a profile of a short call in terms of graph. And given that in this particular strategy, we have got stocks. So we have already got this particular profile in our portfolio, as well as we are selling a call, and if we combine these two graphs together, this is how it should show up. So this is a mathematical representation of how this particular strategy works. And so in this particular strategy in covered call, what happens is, if the stock price is lesser than the strike price, we are going to make loss. This particular loss is coming because of this particular profile. Make sense? If we add both of them here, this particular graph will show like this kind of line, the inclined line. And if current price of the stock is above strike price, we are going to have that limited profit. So this is how it will look like. And this is what I was saying, that covered call limits the potential upside profit. So in this case, if stock goes up, you keep making more and more profit, right? But here in this case, if stock price goes up, you will still cap your profit. So that is the difference here. Does that make sense, guys? This is just some mathematical representation. I think most of you already know covered call, how it works, but it's just a mathematical representation of how it looks like. Any questions, guys?
That's good.
Okay. So this is a covered call example. I have taken the real life example. So the Romeo RMO, this particular stock has been assigned to me on Friday. So day before yesterday, it was assigned to me. So I've got 200 shares of this particular share stocks. I actually sold I did a sell put on this with a strike of around 17, and stock went further down around $15. So I have got this assignment. So right now it is already showing in my account. And what I did on Friday itself, uh, I sold a call again -2, basically two contracts. So which is equal to this number of shares I have got for March 19th. And I am collecting $193 for that. So this is an example, real life example, which I just executed on Friday. So what has happened here? RMO Romeo is at 14.89 today. Call option contract traded between buyer and seller for March 19th. So this is a trade I'm talking about here. The last line. Same goes here. Somebody is buying a call with 17.5 strike for March 19th, and as a seller, we are selling that call. Hence, there is a trade which is happening. And in this particular case, we are the seller. And covered call happens when we have the stock to cover our risk. So premium of $96 per contract. So I'm collecting $193 for two contracts here, which shows here. So buyer is paying that premium. Buyer is paying that premium of $96 per contract. And as a seller, I'm collecting the premium of $96 per contract. So I'm just saying, I'm just keeping one contract for the sake of this example. So what will happen if Romeo goes above 17.5 on March 19th? What can happen? There are only two scenarios which can happen here. Either this stock will go above this particular strike of 17.5, or it will remain below that. Make sense? If Romeo goes above 17.5 on March 19th, so buyer has got two options. Either buyer can exercise his particular contract and get those stocks, or he can make profit as per the stock price by closing the contract. So if this will happen in this side, what are the options for seller if Romeo goes above 17.5? If it will go above 17.5, stocks will be taken away from the seller, because those stocks are nothing but the collateral or the management of risk for the seller. If your stock will go above 17.5, in this case, stocks will be taken away from the seller, and he will not be able to control that unless seller takes a loss by closing this particular contract. So for example, right now stock is at 14.89. Let's say stock goes to $20. So either I will have to close this contract on a huge loss of around maybe $300 or so, or I will just do nothing and let these stocks go away from my account. But irrespective of that, as I always mention, because seller is like an insurance company, they are, as a seller, we are always going to keep the premium. So premium is always for the seller to keep. Hence, whatever will happen here, either stocks will be taken away or we take a loss by closing this contract early, we will still have that premium of $96.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. Maybe it's a silly question. So
No
when
problem.
you say that stocks are taken away,
Yes.
and or you can take the loss. Loss means the difference of the price in the stock.
Yeah, that's your loss.
Yes.
So how much loss you will take from 17.5 to $20 or 14.89 to $20?
No, it will start from 17.5.
Okay. So two.
Before
Okay.
17.5, this will be scenario number 2. So only
Okay.
when it will hit 17.5, then you will start, either you will take a loss or stocks will be taken away.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, and and one more thing is, see, you are only taking loss when you are trying to close this early. Otherwise, if let's say you just let your stocks taken away, you're actually not taking a loss. You are just giving your stocks so that you don't take that loss. So that is the advantage in this particular case. The second scenario is if Romeo remains below 17.5 on March 19th. In that case, again, buyer has lost his bet. The buyer was betting that, okay, this particular stock will go above 17.5. And as a seller, we were selling that particular bet. So in this particular case, buyer is going to lose this bet, and hence he will not make anything. In fact, he will lose $96.
I have one more question,
Yes.
um, Varun.
Yes.
So in scenario one, suppose if we are the buyer,
Yes.
right now we are the seller, but if we suppose we are on the buyer side,
Yes.
so do we have to do it manually? Suppose if we do not do anything, then the contract will be assigned to us, like the
Shares.
shares will be assigned to us.
Yes. If you are a
Or
buyer, it will be auto exercised if you don't do anything, and this is a case.
so do we have to do some manually, like if I don't want to take the shares, I
You can
just want to
close.
take the profit, then I have to close it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it works everywhere like this. So if I try to tell you in terms of buyer and seller, right? Buyer can exercise. He has a right to exercise anytime. And whenever it is exercised, he has an obligation to take assignment. So they work together like this. Okay. A buyer has a right to exercise anytime in that particular time period of this contract. Buyer can go ahead and exercise their contract. And what does exercise means? They are going to take these stocks at the strike price. Okay. And if that happens, there will be a seller, and broker will randomly, select a seller. They will be that seller will be assigned that particular contract. Does that make sense? So for example, in case of buy call, sorry. Okay. If a buyer has exercised it, what will happen? Buyer will get 100 stocks. Okay. So what will happen here? Seller, sorry, as soon as exercise will happen, assignment will also happen to somebody. So seller will get minus 100 stocks. This is how it works. All right. So this will be a shorted
Mhm.
position here. And on a put side, what happens when exercise happen? Buyer will get minus 100 stocks, and assignment seller will get plus 100 stocks. So in case of fold, what you are observing is this particular scenario. All right.
Mhm.
And this is what we are generally aware of. It is very easy to understand that, okay, we are going to get 100 stocks. We are at the seller side, and this is a put sell put. So we, as a seller, we have sold a put. So when assignment happened, we got plus 100 stocks. That's a very easiest scenario to understand. And but these minus, uh, if let's say buyer of a put, he will try to exercise, they are going to get a shorted position. This is minus. Whenever minus stocks come, that is nothing but a shorted position. That's called shorting. So their rule of the rule, general rule, what we follow, it will be completely reverse for them. So they are going to lose money when stock will go up, and they're going to make money when stock will go down. That's how these particular positions are going to work. Minus positions. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. And in this particular case, close anytime with profit or loss. Premium is go away. So this is true for both of them. Both of them can close anytime. All right. Now, and depending on the position of the stock and the options premium, that we are seller or buyer, they will take a loss in the case. Only advantage is that seller always makes a premium. Okay. Seller always gets premium, and buyer always gives that premium. And my whole strategy and all sessions which I will try to cover, this will be the basic premise of our learning, that we are going to make money because we are already having a stronghold due to making this premium. But sometimes we are going to give premium to when we are gambling, or we know we are very sure that this stock is going to go up, then maybe we'll try to buy a call. But you will observe that rarely. Generally, my strategy will be on the premium side, making premium side. This is nothing but the way buyer and seller, they are always working on a particular call or particular put. So these scenarios are exactly like that. Only difference here is what is going to happen here. And there also only difference is that given that we have a covered call, stocks are going to be taken away instead of we taking a loss. So this particular here, what we are trying to cover here is this one. So in covered call, what will happen when this assignment is going to happen? Naked call. This is naked call when you don't have anything in terms of collateral or maybe even money. Assignment seller will, what will happen in covered call? No, let me write it down like this. Covered call assignment, stocks will be taken away. If you observe mathematically in covered call, what is happening? Seller already had plus 100, right? Here we had plus 100 stocks, correct? So if we have a naked call, seller will have minus 100. And in this particular strategy, what's happening in covered call? Given that there is a plus 100, so plus 100 and minus 100, they are becoming zero. So stocks are just been taken out of your account. There is no position shown in your account. So mathematically, this is how it is working. So this is the only difference in covered call, and this gives a lot of power to us because now we are not worried about taking this loss. Otherwise, we can have infinite amount of loss if we have a naked call. In GameStop, the hedge funds, they were actually selling call. They were actually selling these calls. All right. So for them, and the Wall Street Bet, the Redditors, the group on Reddit, they actually figured this one out, that they are shorting this particular stock, and they are selling naked calls. They don't have stocks. They are not selling it covered. They were selling it naked. So when they were selling naked, and stocks start working against them, either they will have to close it on a huge loss, or they were supposed to buy those stocks so that they can cover it. And that's where you would have heard of short squeeze. So squeeze is nothing but those hedge funds were trying to buy these stocks, so as to cover those particular calls, the naked calls. So they were trying to transition between from naked calls to covered call, and that's called short squeeze, because when in that transition, when they want to safeguard themselves, um, they will have to buy stocks. So imagine people are already buying and they're not selling that GameStop stock. Other than that, uh, the folks who were shorting that stock, who were bearish on the stock, they've also started buying it because they want to safeguard their position, or they want to minimize their losses. So everybody became a buyer in the market, and that is called as a short squeeze. And when that short squeeze happen, you will see that the stock will go suddenly way high. So I'm deviating a little bit from the topic, but that will help you understand the way things worked here. So see what happened here in GameStop. Stock was hovering here, right? Uh, and there were people who were selling short calls. So suddenly they found out, okay, that their short calls are going in huge loss. So they started buying stocks so that they start covering their stocks, covering their calls. So they also started buying stock, and suddenly it went from $40 to $347. So they bought stocks in millions and billions just to safeguard this particular position, this particular issue. So this was the pain for them. So they wanted to transition from here to here. So what we are going to do smartly, we don't need to do this at all. I have already burnt myself couple of times by selling naked calls and seeing GameStop scenario. I think it's not a good strategy to sell naked calls nowadays. I was able to do it earlier, but now after GameStop, I'm not doing it at all. It will take away our portfolio completely. It will flush us out. So what we are going to do is we are going to sell covered calls, not naked calls. Unless we know everything about the stock, we should not do this. So we will stick to this covered call strategy.
Varun, can you give me an example of the naked call? What did they sell for? Like at a higher strike price? So they got the premium
Yeah.
because they sold the call, right? So they got the premium.
Yes.
So let's say it was $35 at that time before it went up. So what did they say? They will sell the stock at 40 or 45, $50?
No, they cannot. They cannot sell it, right? They have a naked call, so they are a bearish. They are already shorting it. So they will have to buy stocks first. They are already they are. I mean, the way it works is they are already shorting it. If that shorting position does not work in their favor, because they were expecting that the stock will go down, but the stock is going really high, further high, right? So the trade was not working in their favor at all. So only thing what they can do is they can buy stocks so that they make their transition from this particular naked call to covered call. That is the only way out for them. Otherwise, they will keep losing. Otherwise, other option is to make a loss. They can close that.
Right.
They click that button and say, okay, I will take a loss. I agree that, okay, this is a loss-making situation for me. I'll take a loss. But for that loss itself was for them was in billions. So, and they knew these guys were smart, right? They knew that GameStop people are just short buying it for the sake of hitting them, right? So
Right.
they knew that GameStop can never be of this particular valuation of $350 valuation, and everybody knew that. So when they were so confident, they started buying stocks instead of closing their trades on a loss. They started buying stocks, and they were covered by the time stock reached here. So by the time stock reached at $350, they were already covered, and they were just waiting for a right time when they will sell all that stock in the market. So I don't know what, I mean, we of course, nobody will know that what all trades they had, but they basically did this transition from naked call to covered call for themselves. And then at least they knew, okay, they are already covered. They're not going to take a loss more than what the amount of money they have paid for the stocks buying. But um, after that, they can easily play their game. So once we are here, we don't have risk of making losses. Basically, this is the point I wanted to make. Otherwise, in naked call, you can make a lot of loss if this trade does not work in our favor. Selling put is still easy, better, because we know
Yes.
that stock cannot, I mean, only until and unless stock is really bad, and we know company is going to become bankrupt, we know that there will be some value. I mean, even the example of Fold, right? This is a stock where we made a loss. We made a loss, but still what? I mean, it was around $18 and it went to $12. So around 30% to 30% down. But still 70% value is still there in the stock. But when we talk about going high, it can go any high, right? There is no limit to it. So just like this GameStop, it went from $17 to $350 because people were gambling on it. So
Hey,
there is
Varun, can you hear me?
yes.
I have. Can you go to that Excel again? Before going to the put, I have one question on this. So whatever GameStop did, that was kind of a reactive action, right? Because something happened, and then they started covered call so that they could minimize the loss.
Yes.
But in our case, like as a general investor, like us, what would the benefit of covered call? So it is again, is it reactive when something bad happens like this, where you have like -100 stock naked call, it's not working, you started buying it and do the covered call, or in what use case we are going to use covered call?
Yeah, we are not going to do it that way. What we are saying is we already have stocks, and then we will do the covered call. We will so we will not do this transition. We will start from this particular. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
So for example, I have some stock, say Ford stock of 1,000 stocks I have. So I
yes,
can start playing covered call assignment to just earn
absolutely.
the premium. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole strategy. That most of the time, we people who are in stocks, they are always waiting for stocks to go up, and then they try to sell in the market. What the whole strategy of covered call is to rent your stocks. So you already have those stocks in your portfolio. They're not making money until then, right? So why not
Right.
rent it out? Just like the home, let's say that you have a house in which you are not living. So you will try to rent your house, right, and make some more money out of that, or you can just keep it locked. So this is a smart strategy in terms of when you have these stocks, you start selling covered calls. So let
So
me try to.
in this Excel sheet, you said like stocks are taken away or take loss. So in practical scenario, we will not even do it because we know that why to sell stock when we can get a premium, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and it depends upon what's your comfortability with the stock. Uh,
Right.
Sometimes you may want to get rid of these stocks, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That is
you will
fine.
try to make more premium by keeping
Mhm.
a strike very near to your strike price with the stock price. So, depending on your thought process behind that, you will keep a higher or a lower strike. So, let me try to show you how to do this. Um if we go to Robinhood. So here I will just show you people who are completely new just for them, but overall I can't do a covered call here. But if let's say I have got Fold, right? Like I think Surbi, you had Fold stocks. So if I have got Fold here, as soon as if I have got Fold stocks, then it would have started showing me, some more details about it that I have them. And if Fold is running at 12.21, sell call. Okay, short call $15. So I'm making $33 per contract. So let me not even do expiry of March 19th. Now I will start doing April contracts. anyway. So it's because I'm going to get better premiums. So, okay. So if I sell a call for $15 strike for 16th of April expiry, I will get $68 per contract. So this is going to reduce my stock price further, and I can keep, playing this short call. You can observe it is asking me for the collaterals needed to sell fold for $15 call. If I would have had this particular stock, 100 stocks in my Robinhood account, Robinhood will not ask me for this collateral. It will allow me to execute this, but it is asking me because I don't have that collateral. But I can show you the same example here. CCX. Okay, let me see if CCX will be a good one. Oh, okay. So on CCX also, I have got 200 shares assigned. So let me try to sell call on this. I don't think I'll get very good premium on this. But let's say on March 19, I have already have that. And for March 19th, I will sell the premium for as a sell call. And I've got 200 shares, so I'll sell 2 contracts. All right. So I am selling call. I've got 200 stocks, so I can sell 2 contracts, which will also contain 200 stocks. I will make $200 as a premium. And if you observe, the main thing which I want to make you observe is the buying power has increased in all of your trades. If you are going to sell put or do something else, your buying power is going to decrease. But in this particular scenario, your buying power is increasing. The main reason behind that is because you already have a collateral with your stocks. On top of it, you are making money here, right? In premium. So it is actually giving you buying power extra. So that is an advantage on top of, having that stock, and maybe in dividend stocks, we are going to make some money. We are also going to get a bit of a advantage in terms of buying power. But generally, it won't be too big, too huge, but something which we should know.
And what if it goes like $15?
Yeah, if it goes to $15, we are losing in this trade, right?
Right.
So if it goes to $15, then we are in scenario 1.
Yeah.
So if it will be scenario 1 and we are a seller, stocks will be taken away. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And if you really like your stock here, let's say if you are expecting, let's say, stock will go to $40,
Yeah.
even that
Yeah.
can happen, right? Sometimes what happens,
Right.
we have put a strike, and then we feel like, oh my, this stock is going to go really high.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other option for you is to close that particular contract on a loss.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
So these
Okay.
are the 2 options. But generally, before putting a strike, you should have that in mind. Okay, that what can be the price of this stock, and what's your thought process of selling this call? Do you want to get rid of your stocks, or you want to still keep them? If you want to keep them, keep a bit higher strike price, so that stocks are not taken away from you. But if you are willing to let the stock go away, then maybe you should keep a lesser strike price. For example, in terms of fold, right? Like Surbi, you have got fold as a stock. So what you could do is, it's going to be bit in a disadvantage in a way, because your break-even price is little higher, right? But what you should do is, for fold, try to calculate your break-even price, and then try to check for that strike. If you get a good price, then you can try to put that particular price. So key takeaways, guys. Again, options have got a lot of options. We covered one more strategy today. We can rent our stocks what we already have using covered calls. It's a great strategy in terms of making some small amount of money with the stocks what we have got, and playing it completely safe. You won't take any loss. Only loss is going to be the stocks which will be taken away from you, which is not a loss overall. It's just that the stocks are going to be taken away. So an opportunity might have been taken away, but we will have more opportunities in the market anyway, right? The advantage is there is no additional buying power which is required for this. Our existing stocks are going to work for as a collateral here. It in fact increases the buying power. So in this example also I'm showing it. One thing which I want to cover is if you are expecting a stock to go up, right? Then, and you are quite sure about it, then it is good to just wait for a right time, either to sell a call or, selling the stock in the market itself. Because as I covered, right, the covered call limits the potential upside profit. So you may, if you already know that the stock is going to go further up and you can make really high, good amount of money. So maybe you would want to take some time and wait for some time and then decide whether you want to sell a call or you want to just, take an advantage of the stock price itself. So that is something you may always want to plan and then do the covered calls. It's a great strategy if we combine this with a sell put strategy, and which we are already observing for Romeo stock, what I have covered in the example. I am actually doing a kind of a wheeling strategy where I sold a put, but that sold put did not work in my favor. So I collected the premium and I got the stocks assigned. And now stocks have been assigned to me. So I am still thankful to the market. And now I'm going to sell a call on top of it. So I am collecting premium through sell put, then I'm collecting a premium through sell call. And that's how then stock will go away, then I'll again sell put. So that way I'll keep making money. That will be like a wheel in which I'm making money. Always you should have stocks in the 100 numbers, multiple of 100, so that you can do sell call or covered call in an optimized way or in an efficient way. You can still do it if you have less number of stocks, but then half of your money is going to be covered from your stocks and half of your money is going to be covered through the losses. So I won't recommend that. So only when you have 100 multiple stocks, then try to do covered calls. It's not a good strategy again for day traders or somebody who is looking for short-term stock gains, because then you might want to play with the stocks itself to go take advantage of the up and down of stocks. One more thing which I observed here is in sell call is I found selling call generally have a lower premium than selling put. And again, there are multiple hypotheses about it. I think mainly the way market wants to have them, those premium, that's what defines them. But what I believe is market does not pay an insurance for stock to go up. Market wants to buy insurance or pay insurance for stock to go down, right? It's a general psychology of people, right? They want to buy insurance that my stock, whatever I have, it should not go down. So let me buy insurance for that. So they are more willing to pay premium for market to go down. So they will be more buyer of a put, and they are going to pay premium for buying a put. So that's how I see this. But this is what I have observed, that selling call generally have lower premium than selling a put. So if you have a same strike away for a sell put and same strike away for a sell call, I generally found that sell put has more premium than selling. Yeah. Any question, guys?
Varun, I have a question.
Yes.
So in terms of the expiry date for the covered call, what is the best strategy? Because some people say you can go for 6 months or a year for very stable stocks because they don't go up too much, right? Some people say go only for 1 month. Then you're at least covered for a very upward trend. You may lose a lot if the stock goes up too much, right? So what is the best strategy for the expiry date?
Yeah, good question. So see, there is again, there is nothing best and worse in that particular way, because it depends on the trader and their style. Few people like to play weekly, right? They try to sell weekly options or try to buy weekly options. Few others, they try to buy 2 to 3 months away weekly options or buy or sell, and others, they also buy or sell yearly week options. What I have observed and what I have liked and generally you would have observed in my style, I generally keep it from 30 to 60 days of options. So the reason being, let me write it down, why I do that. Short term, mid term, and long term, right? And I'm just talking from a seller perspective. Premium making, okay? So if you have short term, you will get low premium, less premium. You will get middle premium, and you will get high premium. Make sense? So this is a premium making, how much we are going to make. One more thing which will happen here is the rate of earning premium, and that's called theta decay. We are going to cover that in one of the session, but this is where it becomes important. What happens here is rate of earning premium. The way it works is every day how much money I'm going to make. Gradually I'm going to make that money, right? So if everything remains constant for whatever amount of time we have that contract, if nothing else happen, we are going to keep collecting that premium, right? Every day bit more premium keeps coming in our pocket. This is fastest here. So this is middle here, and this is lowest here. So your rate is actually fastest when you run a short-term options. So if you have a weekly option, you're going to make very fast money. But guess what? Your premiums are less. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, I think that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Our problem is, we are in Canada here. So if we make weekly, calls or 2 weekly calls, and the premium is low, and then you are paying, $10 for entering and $10 for exiting the, trade,
Yeah.
it really eats away your profit. So for us, weekly, unless it's a lot of premium, then, it makes sense, but otherwise it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. So yeah, it does not make sense. So generally my strategies are focused on this particular aspect. So I'll tell you the reason behind that, because again, we are in middle of both. So we are not collecting too less premium, and we are not collecting too high premium. So we are middle of both grounds, and our even rate of earning is also middle of both grounds. And the biggest advantage, what I have found, again, it does not apply to everybody, is that I am not in a hurry of, or in a stress of managing my short-term options. When you do short-term options and stock, if the trade does not work in your favor, generally you will end up taking a loss, or you will have to take the assignment, right? Especially like in the example of Fold, what we were looking at, because the expiry was so near, there was hardly anything else you can do in terms of research or in terms of the stock recovery. If a stock has fallen already, you don't have enough time to have the stock recover. You will end up taking a assignment. What happens in mid-term, even if trade does not work in our favor, we still have almost a month or so to look at the stock and take our decisions. So which has happened, let's say even in Fold, right? You have Feb 19th contract, but I have a March 19th contract. So I still have some time to take my decision in terms of, should I really take a loss or should I take the assignment? Or maybe stock will recover in 1 month. So that gives me a bit more advantage and less stress. Long term also can have that advantage, but only thing is the rate of earning money is little low. So I will have to wait very long time. So that's, I think for me, it has been a sweet spot, but again, it depends on a trader's style, what they want to do. And if you would have observed in my style, that I have been closing my March contracts and Feb contracts, and now next week you will observe I am going to go on April contracts. So now I will again start on the 2 month cycle and keep closing my monthly 1 month cycle contract, so that I keep on avoiding the risk of assignment, and I have enough time for other contracts to manage. So that has been my style, but I wouldn't suggest you follow my style. You try to discover yourself in terms of what kind of risk management you want to do and how much money you have, and then play this game. But yeah, I just wanted to ensure that you understand my thought process, and then appreciate or make your own process.
Thank you so much. I have a question for you as well. That RMO example you gave it to us,
Yes.
the one you got it through the naked put sell assignment. So when you get the assignment on Friday, can you sell covered call on the very same day, or you have to wait until Monday or Tuesday?
You have to wait until Monday to make it covered.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you would have observed, so yeah, this is a trade here. So I mentioned this RMO existing trade update, sell call proactively on RMO. So on Friday,
Right.
this was just a sell call. This was a naked call on Friday. RMO is going to be assigned today, selling a call proactively. So this was my proactive trade, because I knew, I mean, on it is not going to do anything on Friday. So I was just making, putting a trade proactively. So next week, this will become a covered call trade. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So now this is a covered call trade right now in my account. But when I placed this trade, it was not a covered call trade. So
But that doesn't affect the premium, right? The premium remains the same.
uh, yeah, premium is
Premium?
premium is has got multiple factors, but it can work in my advantage in a way where, let's say if Romeo does not move at all for 1 month, then I'm collecting bit more premium because of this.
No, naked call versus covered call. When you wait until Monday or you do it on Friday,
Mhm.
it's not going to change the premium, will it?
It might change.
Okay.
Again, that's what I'm saying, that every day there is some small amount of money which is which keeps coming from premium, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the premium is collected every day, right? Every day we are
Right.
the buyer is paying a little bit of an insurance money, and we as a seller we are collecting that small amount of money. So every day we are collecting that money. So if I am doing that trade on Friday itself, I might be able to. I am hoping that I will make better money than placing a similar trade on Monday.
Okay.
But again, uh, that is when everything else remain as is. Everything else means stock price does not move at all for a month, um, and your volatility does not change at all. So when everything remains constant, then I will get maybe some $2 or $5 extra
Okay.
if I'm doing this trade on Friday itself. But honestly, yeah, you would want to do it whenever you have a clarity in terms of how the stock movement is going to happen.
Now, regarding that fold, I was talking to my wife,
Yeah.
and my understanding is because right now the fold is sort of, not going anywhere. It's around 12, 20, 12, 30, right?
Mhm.
So my understanding is if I wait about, few more days or a week and sort of let the stock sort of rally a little bit,
Yeah,
and then I think I may get a better premium as opposed to selling the covered call now. What do you think?
I do agree. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
If you expect that this stock will go further up, yes, it's better to wait out. So that's where the decision making process happen, that either you wait or you just keep making a small amount of money because of the day decay, everyday decay.
Okay.
So let's say if let's say stock does not move too much, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you wait for 15 more days, then your premium
Right.
what you are going to get will be more further lesser, right? For the same
Right. Right.
query. So that is a decision making process if you want to do it now or later.
Okay.
Even I was trying to decide for my own assignments. So for example, I got these 3 assignments on Friday. So if you observe, I have for Romeo I have already done a covered call. But for CCX assignment, I am thinking of just selling it in the market. I don't think it is worth it to even make a covered call for this, but I'll take a decision on Monday. And on UWMC, I am expecting that this is going to take some, it is going to run further up. So either I will, when it will go further up, I will try to sell it, or maybe I'll try to sell covered call at that time. So again, on this one, I am trying to wait, just like as you mentioned for Fold. And for CCX, I will wait and just sell in the market for profit or loss. So on each stock, you would want to take the decision depending on the situation.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Anything else, guys? All right. All right. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. You can send me questions in the channel as well. And where you would want to start sharing your trades here, guys. In the channel, you have other trade ideas share. Start sharing your trade ideas either before or after, and me or somebody else, can give some good feedback or some more information. I mean, again, the whole idea is to just keep sharing with each other and learn from each other. So everybody, if you are placing any trade, you can start putting your screenshots here, and maybe you will have
Now we know how to copy and paste, so we will will post.
okay. Yeah, so you can place him here, and yeah, gradually, yeah, we'll learn from each other, and some, if you know some good trade or some good stock, you can let us know here. And yeah, and if you are making profit or loss, you can share in profit, loss, and learning. I'm trying to put my profit losses here, and you can also start sharing or the learning if you have any.
Varun, what do you think about that Jyotish trade on CCIV, aggressive put on CCIV? I thought that was a very bright idea.
Yeah, even yeah,
$45, $45 and $40 put on CCIV.
yes, but see, her break-even price is really low, so that way,
Right, because the premium is huge.
yeah, premium is really good. So yeah, it's a risky trade, but yeah, CCIV, maybe this will work really good for them because CCIV might go further up.
They're saying it will go up to $100. I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation.
I might wait for some time. I mean, I will enter in CCIV maybe on a down day. So we'll go down. It will have further up and down. Especially, it will go down on the once the announcement will happen. On that day, people will take profit.
Okay.
So I was expecting on Friday itself it will take some profit, but it did not happen. That the announcement did not happen. So whenever it will happen, people would want to take profit, and that date will go down. But I think long term it is going to work well. This particular stock.
I was thinking about, because the premium is so good, I was thinking about, taking that $9, $7 premium, and out of that 20% premium, I will just buy another put at a lower price. So that will have me a downside protection in case it goes really down.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And that is something I would want to cover next week, selling verticals, because I understand not everybody can sell a lot of puts. So I will try to cover that next week, selling verticals. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thanks, Varun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Varun.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a great day. And yeah, we'll keep covering new concepts every week. Huh? Yeah. Thank you, everyone.